past 2 decades, Guru AAMA has dedicated and worked to help more than 1 million people in Nepal and abroad with her simple efforts of kindness and unconditional giving. She believes that love and awakening are not a monetary phenomenon. That is why the ashram she leads is completely free. Her simple vision is that every house must be a temple, a sacred place of mindfulness, gratitude, and union. This requires some efforts and momentum, some compassion and awareness. Her vision for the world is to make every home a sanctuary, a temple, a place of awakening and worship without boundaries and division, unconditional temple of humanity. The ashram is led, managed, and coordinated by elderly mothers. Guru AAMA points out that educating a daughter or a mother is educating an entire family. She explains 3 things that are essential for a blissful and wholesome living: holistic education, holistic health, and holistic lifestyle.
Shiva Manas Puja.
BHAVA Samadhi. That was the one thing that came to me as an interpretation of the story that I wrote about my experience in a Zen Buddhist monastery, where I had walked out of the monastery, felt incredible clarity, could see the air, and I could also see things in slow motion. And this was interpreted by Guru AAMA as BHAVA Samadhi, a particular stage of enlightenment. And for me personally, whether it is named BHAVA Samadhi or whether it's something else, it's kind of irrelevant to me. It merely pointed to me the direction that yoga was all about. It just comes about from breathing, focusing on your breathing, your asana, and sound. At the time that I had this experience, which I had written on the story My Path into Yoga, I was not even headstanding, nor was I doing any of the kind of yoga I do now. Teaching from spiritual experiences. This is another thing that was conveyed by Guru AAMA, is that it's not enough that when you teach that you just read from textbooks and then you just regurgitate it back out. That's one thing, but ultimately you have to have experienced spirituality, ideally, to be able to teach yoga. There are angles that exist that cannot be described by words. There are aspects of spirituality that words are limited to. And ideally, when it comes to the reality and when it comes to the actual experiences of spiritual experiences, there should be a way of being able to speak about it without having to use academic jargon. It is actually something that is available to everybody to tap into. And that only comes when you start to tap into the truths from within. And from within, when you start to tap in, you will express it in your own language. And that is actually when you're speaking more from direct experience. And that is one of the most important aspects for those who are teaching yoga, to teach from spiritual experiences. It was also described by Guru AAMA that you cannot just learn the yoga and practice it. You have to experience the spiritual aspect of yoga and then practice it. That was an interesting way of explaining it. There was something in the effect of actually experiencing it to practice the yoga. So that'll be left as a thought to ponder. And for those who have their own forms of experiences while practicing and don't have the words to express it, well, just keep looking at it from within. Her husband was the one who told me that she achieved enlightenment, and that she achieved this on a rainy day when she was by herself and he was out of town. And that from that day onward, it seemed like that there was a transformation of her character, her personality, She became less of a fighting type of a person and more of a relaxed, receptive, open, and tolerant person. But before, she was less tolerant or more of a fighting type of a character. I met people who claimed to be enlightened, and I saw clearly that they seemed tense. So for me personally, I've heard on both ends, but from them directly and from what I have seen, I saw a calm and relaxed person who was very receptive, and I'm sure she gets stressed also. But the overall idea is that there is a transformation of the self, of the character, of the personality.